Do you ever see a character and just immediately feel like you understand them in a different way than anybody else? That's how I feel about Cole from Ninjago. Cole is my favorite character in the show. He's a character that feels like a strong yet kind older brother. And the thing that immediately drew me to him and made me connect with him in a different way than any other character was his quality of being the invisible ninja. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. Cole has always been the underdog of the team. Even in the early seasons of the show, they treated Cole like the last choice. They made in-narrative jokes about how Cole is the least liked or least valuable ninja.
There's a reason nobody liked you!
They usually made reference to his position as the least liked ninja in the fandom. He was kind of shunted off to the side while the other ninja got to shine. Kai was the main character, and even after Lloyd took center stage, he still had his hot-headedness and goofiness to help his character stand out. Jay was the comic relief, and Zane was a freaking robot. They all had clear reasons to be anybody's favorite ninja. And what was Cole? He was the regular one. Even though Cole was the most regular of any of the ninja, he still had distinct personality traits that made him stand out. He was trained as a dancer to mixed results,
but I ended up falling on my face, humiliating myself, and letting my quartet down.
The triple tiger sachet! He's danced the impossible!
He was scared of dragons but managed to overcome his fear. He was a natural leader, and he was just the most straightforward, honest, caring member of the team. The problem was that these distinct traits of his were never given enough time to be developed in an extremely captivating way like the traits of the other ninja. Cole was the most human character of the team. He was grounded, pun intended, in the real world. He had very close ties to normal civilian life in Ninjago, and he jumped into a fantastical world with the hope of helping people, and because Master Wu saw something in him that he didn't think his father did. Cole is a character who lost his mother and was sent away to a boarding school by his father, who he felt neglected by after his mother passed. He also feared that his father would not accept what he had chosen to do with his life. He has the most authentic emotional depth to his character, but of course that doesn't get a lot of screen time because he's a character in a kid show. And there's nothing wrong with him being a character in a kid show, that's just the case. Cole became the least favored ninja by fans because even though he had so much potential in terms of emotional depth, he didn't have as much flashy appeal as the other ninja. He wasn't given the same amount of time to be developed because his traits and backstory were not as flashy as the others. This led to fans ultimately complaining that Cole was just there. They wanted more from him, so in Season 5 they gave Cole more. This storyline is my favorite of Cole's and the most personal to me. The main villains of Season 5 are ghosts. The ninja are trying to find a scroll that can teach them air jutsu so that they can defeat Moro and save Lloyd. The only problem is that the scroll is in the temple of Sensei Yang, a ghost, who is fabled to turn anyone who doesn't get out of the temple before sunrise into a ghost as well. At this point in the season, the ninja have been struggling without their leader, Lloyd. Cole finally takes the role as leader and formulates a plan to get the scroll. Cole manages to get the scroll, but when he exits the temple, it's too late. He's a ghost. This is the most interesting setup to me for Cole. I feel like they very intentionally wrote it so that when Cole led the team, they would succeed, but it would come at a cost for Cole. Cole would do anything to make sure they got the scroll because it was crucial to saving Lloyd and saving Ninjago. They are intentionally showing how capable Cole has always been, as a leader and a hero. They are showing the best qualities and the funniest qualities of Cole. His fear of the fantastical and supernatural has always been a part of his character, and his skittish nervousness about ghosts as they wander through the temple is very reminiscent of his fear of dragons. They are showing his leadership qualities, which he possessed in the earliest parts of the show, how he takes control of the situation, creates a plan, and guides his team to completion of the plan. They show his confidence and his heroism by having him complete the plan and grab the scroll. It's really one of the best showings of his character. At the end of the episode, when they show Cole excitedly running up to the ninja before revealing that he has been turned into a ghost, it's so chilling. He is filled with excitement at having gotten the scroll and not letting his team and everyone else down, but once he realizes he is now a ghost, he is absolutely devastated. Now, the actual intent behind the storyline was to eventually get all of the ninja to become more fantastical beings. Zane was already robot, they turned Cole into a ghost, and eventually they would turn Kai and Jay into something fantastical as well. But the way I interpret this storyline is different. By turning specifically Cole into a ghost, It's like they were making all of the underlying comments about him being the last choice, the least valuable, the last one picked, visible. Cole has turned into a fantastical being that has the quality of physically turning invisible and the possibility of fading away. He has turned into a being that is associated with being invisible, with being forgotten. In the very next episode, Cole feels like he doesn't bring any value to the team anymore because he's a ghost. He feels down and he loses his natural confidence in himself. We get to see any insecurity he might have been carrying all of this time right in front of our faces. Cole almost wants to give up, something that we've never seen him want to do before. At the end of the episode, however, with the help of the ninja, he is able to recognize that he is still a valuable member of the team. He was never the least valuable, he was always an essential player. He's not completely healed from this change, but he is starting to accept it as a part of himself now. Being seen as invisible or easy to forget is something that has always been a part of his life, just never as heavily noticeable as now. He holds this insecurity but does his best to adapt to it. This storyline has always been my favorite of Cole's because it is exactly how I have felt most of my life, invisible. And now that Cole can actually turn invisible, it's like he can't hide from it anymore. He has to address this gnawing feeling in his gut that maybe he is invisible to everybody else. He's nobody's first pick. That's exactly how I felt. I never wanted to address that feeling, but I realized once you address it, you can start to accept it, and then you can start to heal. And I felt so seen by this emotional and physical exploration of Cole's struggle with invisibility in the show. And the special Day of the Departed really cemented the connection I had to this storyline. In Day of the Departed, Cole is starting to become even more invisible to the others. After 2 seasons, it's like him being a ghost is old news to the fans, and even the ninja, as he has just been adapting to his newfound form and accepting it. Even with this new aspect to his character, an extremely interesting one at that, he is still being forgotten about. People are walking through him, and his invisibility is getting harder to control as he is slowly fading away. It's like his insecurities became clear, but once they slowly started to be pushed to the side, that still didn't stop them from festering on the sidelines until they became too hard to ignore. And that's now. He is feeling absolutely devastated at the fact that he is becoming even more easily ignored. He is fading, he feels alone, and he doesn't know what to do. He just wants to be normal again. In a desperate attempt to reverse the curse Sensei Yang has put on him, Cole follows a message from Yang and uses the Yin Blade to unleash ghosts, thinking that it would help him turn back into a human. Yang uses him, and then reveals that the Yin Blade being used on the Day of the Departed when the Yin-Yang lunar eclipse occurs will allow the Rift of Return to open. Anyone who passes through the rift can turn back into a human. Yang wants to go through the rift as he is a ghost that is not remembered by anyone, as the martial art he created, air jitsu, is largely forgotten. He and Cole share this insecurity of being forgotten. One of the most interesting lines to me is this one.
When they see I'm missing, they'll come for me.
See you're missing? Look at you. You can barely see yourself.
Not only is this line true visually, but it can also be true in an implicit sense. Cole can hardly grasp who he is anymore. He brushed all of his pain under the rug, pretending like it didn't bother him anymore, just for it all to come boiling up. He feels alone, and he feels like he isn't recognized by anyone, not even himself. Yang remarks about his fragile mental state as he is alone and feeling forgotten by his friends. Yang reveals that Cole using the Yin Blade has caused his friends to be bombarded with past villains.
Today we're gonna play a game that's as old as pain itself. Bombardment.
I'm intrigued. What are the rules?
Duck or die!
Cole knows he has to stop Yang from causing any more trouble for his friends or spreading any more evil in Ninjago. He goes to stop Yang not because he wants to get through the Rift of Return himself, but because he knows he needs to stop Yang from causing any more trouble. It's that heroism aspect of his character again, that strong aspect that's always been there, and that you can draw so much from. As Master Yang leaves to wait for the rift to open, Cole escapes and goes after him. Eventually, he is able to catch up to Yang. Cole fights Yang, trying to prevent him from going through the rift, but Yang taunts him, saying that everyone abandoned him. He tells him he is alone. Cole tries to fight, but Yang's words are deeply troubling him. He starts to fade more. I think this is a powerful way of showing how someone can feel invisible when they feel alone or forgotten. It's definitely something I've struggled with and continue to struggle with, and seeing it through this metaphor is really impactful to me. Cole has so many great qualities. He is a wonderful person, and yet he is a character that is often forgotten. Just when Cole is about to give up and let himself fade away, the ninjas show up to encourage him, showing that there is always hope, even if you feel invisible or forgotten. It reminds me of the support system I have in my life, even on the days when I feel very lonely. I think this is such a great message to share, that even when you feel like you aren't remembered by anyone or you're at rock bottom, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. You can always find your way out. Day of the Departed has always meant so much to me, especially because of this scene. It's like an extra bit of encouragement for me when I really need it. I feel so closely connected to Cole, and I can see myself so clearly in him, so when he finds that hope, I feel like I can find that hope too. One of the best things about Day of the Departed, however, is how Cole extends kindness to Yang. Cole is about to go through the rift when Yang expresses his insecurities to him. When Cole hears how Yang perceives himself, as someone who always fails, as someone who won't be remembered, Cole sees himself in him. He doesn't want to leave Yang alone to deal with this insecurity like he did, because he knows how much it hurts. Cole reassures him that he understands how much it hurts, that he understands how it feels. He reassures Yang, telling him that he will be remembered forever because he created Air Jitsu. He then extends compassion to him, offering to take him up to the rift with him. Yang knows that one ghost must stay behind at the temple, so against Cole's wishes, he sends Cole up to the rift before it closes. After the rift closes, the ninja land the bounty and are devastated, as they think Cole didn't make it through the rift. Cole then walks up to them, revealing that he was able to get through the rift to everyone's delight. Cole is no longer a ghost. He has been able to get rid of that physical manifestation of his inner pain, except for one small part, a green scar on his forehead, representing his time as a ghost. Representing that part of him that he has now accepted and is allowing it to be a part of his story. That part of his life where he had to acknowledge his experience of being forgotten. Cole's storyline as a ghost is one of the most interesting storylines in the show for me for multiple reasons. The way they are able to take a meta aspect of his character and incorporate it into his story in a way that makes sense in the context of the show is very impressive. Even if it wasn't their intended purpose, the fact that I can draw that connection from it is pretty cool. The way I am able to connect to his character so deeply through this storyline is very powerful. The way I interpret this storyline in a personal way is very meaningful to me as well. I think this storyline can be underrated for a lot of reasons, and it deserves some more props for really showing the insecurities of Cole and allowing him to work through them without feeling shame for acknowledging those feelings. Sometimes we don't want to admit when we feel forgotten or alone because it's a really upsetting feeling. But to heal from it, we have to acknowledge it and accept it and allow ourselves to work through it. I like that the show demonstrated this through Cole, allowing him to accept it and show that these feelings are real and valid. And even though they hurt, they are important and they don't last forever. There is always hope. Another instance in the show that I interpreted as a demonstration of him struggling with feeling invisible is in season 8. In the episode The Jade Princess, we get a flashback to when Cole met Master Wu. When Master Wu asks Cole why he is climbing the mountain, Cole tells him that he just lost his mother. He feels that his father is not acknowledging his feelings in the appropriate way, that he is almost never home, leaving Cole to take on more responsibility during a difficult time for him. I interpret this part as Cole feeling forgotten by his father. After his mother died, Wu decided to throw himself into his career and essentially forgot about his son. Cole needed his dad, but his dad forgot about him to deal with his grief in his own way. That's why I think the last line of this flashback, where Cole asks why Wu climbed the mountain and Master Wu says to find you, Cole, is so impactful. We can assume Wu is probably one of the first people to actually acknowledge Cole's grief, Cole's feelings after his mother passed. He is being seen for the first time after an incredibly hard moment in his life. He isn't invisible to Master Wu. Master Wu sees something in him that no one, not even his father, saw before. Now that he finally feels seen by someone, he feels he has a higher purpose that he can fulfill. Someone sees him, and from this point on, Cole will do anything to make sure that anyone who feels invisible, like Sensei Yang, is seen by him. For the longest time, Ninjago seasons would usually be centered around one focus character, a certain member of the ninja team. Every ninja got their chance in the spotlight, except for, you guessed it, Cole. That was until Season 13, Master of the Mountain. Cole finally got the chance to be the focus of the season. He got an emotional story connected to his relationship with his mother, and finally got some much-deserved valuable screen time. But the question is, why did it take 9 years for Cole to finally get a focus season? It all has to do with the essence of his character. From the beginning, he has always been the underrated member of the team. He was the one who had a strong moral compass and heroic spirit, so strong that he ended up blending in, because he didn't have the same types of flaws that the others have. And in that, his flaw became being invisible. And from then on, he was undervalued until they finally decided to dig into the raw emotion of his backstory and explore why Cole has always been a character who has had an incredibly strong moral compass and heroic spirit. These qualities have never made him a boring character. He has flaws and insecurities and struggles to draw from, but they were just never tapped into until much later in the show's run. Having his season be centered around why he has always been the character that he is was incredibly interesting and brought the emotional core of his character to the forefront in a compelling manner, in a way that we needed to see. That brings us to Ninjago Dragons Rising. I've always thought where Cole ended up after the merge was the most poetic happenstance of any of the ninja stories in Dragons Rising. Cole ends up in the land of lost things, a place where forgotten things and forgotten beings end up. Here, Cole meets the Finders. The Finders are a group of forgotten beings who live in this land, and Cole stays there in order to protect them from the monster that lives there as well. If any of the Finders try to leave, a fog guides them back to the land. They are unable to leave until someone remembers them. Cole is able to leave as he is still remembered by the ninja, but I still find it interesting that he ends up in the land of lost things. Of any of the characters, it makes the most sense that it would be him. With his past of being a ghost, he has been lost and forgotten before, and it seems only fitting that he should end up somewhere where he can help others who were lost and forgotten. It's a really beautiful way of reintroducing his character in the new series and reminding us of his past. I think it works very well for his character and makes a lot of sense. Cole always wants to help people, especially those who feel forgotten, and this is a great way of reminding us of that straight on. This insecurity that he holds deep down, although it may not be entirely true, still has merit to it. It is still something that he struggled with and something that he has to carry with him. It's extremely relatable to me as someone who often feels forgotten by others and lost, feeling like sometimes I won't be able to be found. But seeing Cole help the Finders in Dragons Rising and stick by their side no matter what helps me to keep that hope. Cole has always been a character with a massive amount of potential, but was always the last one picked to get the chance to show that potential. This ended up manifesting in storylines and situations that explicitly and implicitly addressed his role in the group dynamic as the undervalued, forgotten, invisible member of the team. Whether it was intentional or not, you can interpret it in that way. Growing up, I often felt like I was invisible to others. I still feel that way even now. It's something I struggle with and something I wish was never a part of me, but the more I try to accept it as a part of me, a part of my history, it allows me to be more okay with it and move forward. I think that is something I've learned from Cole. I've always interpreted his storylines in a more emotional, personal way, and that's why he has always been such a special character to me. Becoming a part of the Ninjago fandom, I often took notice of how people didn't quite seem to grasp Cole's character in the same way I did, but that didn't bother me that much. I've always understood Cole in a different way, and I think it's really special to connect with a character in such a unique way. Cole is an extremely relatable character to me, and his quality of being invisible has helped me feel seen, acknowledged, and understood. I think any character that can make someone feel seen, even if you have to interpret it in a way that people wouldn't normally grasp onto, is very important.